Oh boy, tell you what, my engine hoist is garbage. It doesn't spin, the wheels don't turn. So I have been fighting to get this thing over here and in place. All I gotta do now is scooch it back and then get this front part of the oil pan sitting on this board here. And then move it back because the front of the engine needs to be about right here. So I got a good almost a foot and a half to come back with an engine hoist that does not want to work with me, just to get to it. I mean, it's such a big engine. I guess I went for reliability, uniqueness, and cost, $200 for a motor and transmission, but this thing's freaking huge. If I come back a foot and a half, then where I measured out my firewall would be, it still fits. I think that'll fit in. But I'm gonna have my firewall is gonna be right here. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But this has not ever been an exercise of should I. It's been an exercise of can I. So I think we all know the answer to should I. I'll find out I'll find out the answer to can I. Well, in the immortal words of Derek Beery, I'll be dipped. It's in, and it's sitting on 2x4s, which arguably are not the best engine mounts. So I have this engine mount kit that I need to look at the instructions, and then you need to attach them to the engine mount here and on the other side, because I do need to lower it down a little bit. It is too high. I want to have the oil pan not above the frame. I want to get it down as low as I can, and I think the way that the engine mounts are, it's probably going to be necessary. So just got to see. I'm pretty close to my mark, and which means my firewall is right here, which isn't too terrible. We'll see. Clearly I had to make a tunnel, and I got my cool hot rod shifter for this, but yeah, I mean, you can see just how much space this fucker takes. So I do have a measurement of from the frame rail to the top of the engine so that it still fits in the curve of the beetle hood. Then I can put the front back on, which is sitting over here. Put the front back on, and then the B-pillar part of the car, put the doors on, and then I can mock up the back of the bus sides to see where I want to put this rear axle. And I'm kind of thinking that it's just going to be, well, it's definitely going to be a two-seater, but I was thinking, two-seater with a, kind of a SUV minivan kind of flatbed area here. But I'm kind of thinking that I want the axle pretty close to this point right here, just because, be right maybe a foot or two behind the back of the seat, so it's going to be interesting to see how it all fits. I'm sure it would be better to have a plan going into this, but hey, I'm happy that I'm this far. All right, so this is the motor mount kit that I got, which I'm now convinced I bought the wrong kind. I'm pretty sure I bought a motor mount kit for a V8, so taking the Slant 6 out and putting in a V8 and a slant body. But it got me thinking that if I take this piece that I have here, I cut it flat all the way around, I can weld it to the frame right here, but it would only drop the engine down probably 2 inches. Maybe I don't need to drop it down too much. I guess I'm going to have to do my measurement from here to here to see if I fit under my beetle hood, because I really don't want to do some kind of crazy thing where, like the MGs where they had the bubble in the hood. I mean, that looks kind of cool, but I don't know if I want to do that to the beetle hood. So let's just see. All right, so this little brace I made comes and sits up here on that line right there. And so I'll eventually either bolt that, or I'm not sure, probably bolt it. But anyway, I got to bring the engine farther forward. I mean, damn, the body. So I got to cut out all of it. Oops, all of this stuff here. Probably just going to cut underneath like that and see what I can save, because I really kind of like to keep this dashboard. All right, well, I don't think that's going to work. Don't think I'm going to be able to keep that dash. I think I'm going to have to either cut the dash out and then move it back 6 inches or so, or find another solution, because, you know, I mean, the dash is right on the freaking on the head there, and engine block. That's going to get a little toasty. And then looking at this, granted, the engine's going to drop down probably another 2 inches or more. But so my radiator hose right now is, you know, a little excited, but it looks like everything's going to clear. I mean, barely, but it looks like it's going to clear. If I dropped it down anymore, I don't think it would. The body, that is. Yeah, I'm going to get the hood on and see what it looks like. I mean, come on. That's just ridiculous and freaking cool. Now, I still have the wheel well pieces here, which I will cut back in, or weld back in. I just had no clue if any of this was going to work. And it sits in there perfect. Well, maybe not perfect, but perfect enough. My air cleaner is right up there, but it doesn't touch. And it's going to drop down, you know, when I get the mount, figure the engine mounts out, it'll drop down a couple inches. So I think this, this might actually work. I mean, it may not be drivable and an absolute terrible idea, but it might actually work. I think I found my wheelbase. I mean, I put the doors on. I got to trim the bottom since I don't have normal beetle pan here. I have to trim the bottom so the doors come in. They're a little bit lower than normal. But that, I was able to mark off where this goes. Got it clamped in, so that's my B pillar. I do have another roof to go on, so I'll chop this and put the other one on, and then come back like this. And then I'm just gonna have I don't like when they do the bus things where the bus and back stops right here. I'm gonna have it come back probably maybe a foot more. I mean, obviously I gotta bring the van panels in to see, but I kind of like the back of the van that has that big vent on the top. So I want to have that behind the wheel, and that last little, that should be my C-pillar. But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking this is a pretty good wheelbase. Not too long, and so you can't really get a stand back and get a good view. You know, obviously before I commit to this, I'm going to pull it out into the driveway so I can stand back and see it from a distance. But, you know, so what I would really need to do is take the frame rail here. I'm gonna have to cut this center section out and put a nice ring. I saw Ian Russell use our CO2 tank to make a nice tube piece for the frame to be stiff. But I'm also going to bring the 2x3 up and then straight back so that I have some flooring, because my seats are going to be right here. And maybe a little further, but it all depends on my dash and, you know, this kind of stuff. But yeah, my frame's gonna come up and then over, and then I'll have my leaf springs, which will be interesting where I can attach them here. But yeah, I'll figure that part out soon. But I mean, I'm digging it. I am really digging this. The only thing that I still may change is I may cut the frame, this frame that just drops that little bit. I may cut this and lower it more, like, or I may even see if I can't do a curved piece of the frame to give myself a little bit more room for the steering. Right now, I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna have issues with that, so I have to move this back a little bit or a curve. But also, if I do that, then I can lower it down more. And since the body and the engine would lower together, that'll give me more of the stance that I'm looking for, you know, the low. Because right now it's, you know, 12 inches off the ground maybe, and that's just too much. I mean, I don't have air ride or anything like that, and I'm not gonna be crushing Coke cans, beer cans, but I do need it to sit lower. But the good thing is that I can make it sit lower without having to worry about all of this geometry, because this is all would drop with it. My brace in the front, I would just have to modify or shorten that up, but